Sports Take Podcast. My name is Johnny Redman. As always, I'm joined alongside my three wonderful co-hosts, Mr. Joe Gentile, Mr. Jonathan Donnelly, and Mr. Nick Odell. How are you guys doing today?
Good, man. Doing good.
Good.
How about you?
How about you, Johnny?
You know what? Thanks for asking. I'm doing all right.
Usually he just asks us. I figure I throw it back to the host.
Well, thank you. You know what? It's nice to be appreciated like that.
You know, we try. We try sometimes.
Yeah. Today it's a very casual kind of show, just going with the flow. And you know what? It's nice to have that reciprocation. So thank you, Joe. For now, before we go over to Roundtable, I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Nick Odell. Nick, give us our trivia question of the day.
All right, guys. On this day in 1989, this is a baseball question for you guys today. On this day in 1989, Nolan Ryan lost a perfect game with 2 outs left in the inning. In what inning did he lose it? Was it A, the 6th inning, B, the 7th inning, C, the 8th inning, or D, the 9th inning? Joe, we'll start with you. How would you guess?
I mean, Nick, this question was before I was even born, before Donnelly was – or no, Donnelly, were you around? 89?
No, 90.
All right, so yeah, this is before our time, Nick. I don't know. I'm going to go I'll go 9th inning. I'm going to say he had a heartbreak. And I'll go 9th inning. But I have no reason to back that up. I don't know. It's strictly a guess.
Okay, how about you, Johnny?
If for those of you watching at home, if you're wondering why Joe didn't mention me being born after 1989, it's because I was born in 1842.
You're the youngest here. You weren't even close to 89. You're 94, 93.
It's because I take such good care of myself. I
I don't
eat
know
my
about
fruits
that.
and vegetables. I drink lots of water. I get my 8 hours of sleep every single night. It's all a lie.
Johnny, what's your guess?
1842. Okay, so my guess, I'm going to go with lucky number 7. I'm going to say blew in the 7th inning.
All right. How about you, Donnelly?
I'm going to say is the 9th inning because that's very stereotypical of these kind of situations.
Nobody wants the 8th, huh?
No, nothing ever happens in the 8th.
Yeah.
All right.
All
doesn't
right.
feel
So,
right.
so those are your guesses. But for all you viewers out there tuning into the show, comment below your answer, and the answer will be revealed at the end of the show by either me or somebody else if I get muted at the end of the show. But we'll see.
We'll see.
And thank you to all of you cool cats who are watching right now. Be sure to like our page. Be sure to like this video. And be sure to comment down below if you'd like to contribute any comments or questions for us to discuss on the show. With that said, let's move on to our round table. So today, I figured we'd dive right into college football, considering how crazy of a week it was. I mean, let's start talking about Oklahoma first off. Spencer Rattler, who was supposed to be a huge Heisman favorite, has an absolutely terrible showing and loses. I mean, guys, what do you think? Joe?
I mean, I watched that game against Kansas State, and they had a lead against K-State for a long time, but K-State kept fighting. The Wildcats down in Oklahoma. I mean, they put up a fight, and being unranked, they lost the week before. To give Oklahoma a true test and pull out a win was shocking to everybody. I mean, OU was 3rd in the country. Does that hurt their playoff chances? No, it's early, and with this crazy season, who knows how it's all going to play out. But they will have their opportunity against Texas and other Big 12 contenders throughout the year. So I could see him still making noise going into the playoffs. But it's a bad loss, though. At home, Rattler, like you said, Heisman favorite, Heisman contender, I should say. It's going to be interesting to see how OU recovers from this. But Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how OU recovers from this. But on the other hand, kudos to K-State. Coming into OU, beating the number 3 ranked team in the country. And I have a little stat for you guys. So it is K-State's first win against a top 3 school on the road in school history. Not even the legendary Bill Snyder, a legendary Kansas State head coach, could have pulled it off. So kudos to Kansas State. Congrats on that win. However, in terms of Oklahoma, yeah, I mean, Spencer Rattler didn't have like a dominant performance. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what the Heisman race is at the end of the year. It's still early on. College football playoff is not till December, so Oklahoma has time to recover. So those are my thoughts. The notes.
I don't think that they did that bad. I think it was more on their defense. I mean, Rattler put up almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's a pretty good showing. I mean, it wasn't his fault that they were losing. They put up, 35 points. They lost 38-35, so that's on their defense for allowing Kansas to even put up any points. So I don't think I don't think the offense is to blame for this, especially him as a quarterback. So.
Well, I'm just saying it was like, he wasn't as dominant, and I should have said like the whole team wasn't as dominant, offense and defense. So
right.
My mistake.
I'm happy you mentioned that, Donnelly. I agree with you to a certain extent, but I also think it's about leadership. And
true.
Rattler, he had a really, really great first half. In the second half, he kind of stalled a little bit, So
the thing with OU too, I mean, they, like you said, Donnelly, it's their defense. Their offense puts up numbers, and they always have. They've always had a Heisman contender. They have Baker Mayfield. They've had Kyler Murray. They had Jalen Hurts finish second in the Heisman Trophy race last year. The past 3 years of OU quarterbacks. So Rattler is going to have a very bright future, but we'll see how they kind of recover from that. But like I said, they had the River rivalry coming up in October. That's always a big game. Texas looked good, which I want to segue to Texas real quick because Tommy, thank you for your comment in the video. He said LSU losing and Texas Longhorns putting up 50 plus in the game versus Texas Tech with a shootout for Texas. Texas almost lost.
That was a big game.
Yeah, so the Big 12 is very competitive this year.
Yes.
It's usually Texas, OU. That's all. They've run it for years. OU's usually won the conference the past few years. But now it's a lot more balanced, and we saw that with K-State.
I disagree a little bit with you, Joe. I'm going to disagree with you on a couple of points. I think that this Kansas State loss hurts Oklahoma more than you think. And the reason it does is because this year has so much volatility in it, right? You have so many more teams who are not playing. You have so many more teams who are only playing in conference games. I mean, to lose to such a low-level team, even if it is in your own conference, I mean, it's not.
Yeah, but Kansas State has played them tough over the years. K-State's beat them in years past.
And most years they'll be fine, but also I feel like to an extent it really doesn't matter. I mean, if UCF lost to a team like Memphis, even if Memphis was ranked in the top 25, I mean, it's still a bad loss.
Right. So overall, though, you can't afford a loss in college football. We know, we've watched college football for years. You suffer a loss, every week counts. And that's a resume, that hurts their resume overall. Whether they win out, they still have that blemish on their record that they have lost at home to Kansas State. If they lost on the road to Kansas State, it looks a little bit better, road game, okay. The committee looks at that. But all I'm saying is that it's early on in the year. And I would think they have time. I know it's a bad loss, but we've seen teams in the past recover from bad losses.
Yep. I think really quickly before we end up changing subjects, I think the LSU loss looks way worse than the Oklahoma loss. I mean, this is LSU's first game of the season. Now they're 0-1. I mean, that's awful.
Did you see the quarterback from Mississippi State?
Yeah,
You see the numbers he
it's
put up?
amazing.
He threw over 600 yards passing.
Yeah,
5 touchdowns.
Who does
Well,
that?
That's insane.
they've always been a very pass-heavy team, but 600 yards is still 600 yards. I agree with that.
There's a quick comment on the Facebook Live. Big 12 from Charles. Thank you, Charles. Big 12, aka no defense conference. And it seems like there hasn't been really much defense overall in college football. You look at Tech versus Texas. As we said, in overtime, they both put up over 100 points combined.
I felt like Patrick Mahomes was still on Texas Tech during that game. Like, it was like the ghost of, I don't know, like, or something like that. Like Patrick Mahomes' spirit was in that stadium or something. I don't know.
But the fact that Mississippi State threw for 600 yards passing, that's video game numbers. That doesn't happen. And to do it against the defending champs, I know that the LSU lost a ton of talent to the NFL.
Yeah.
But
I will say one team that has been defense oriented within the past 5 years, and now they're actually looking as good as their initial ranking has been, is Texas. I mean, that was a great win against Texas Tech.
Absolutely.
Their offense showed up.
Yep.
And I think
Big
if
time.
they continue to run, I think they have a good shot at making the playoffs. I mean, for now, Oklahoma and LSU, in my opinion, count them out.
Okay. We will see.
We will see. Moving on. The baseball regular season is over. The Red
Good.
Sox fell just short of the playoffs.
Sorry. Just there was enough bleeding. Let the bleeding stop.
Listen, I'm wearing the hat too. You know, that's why I'm wearing it backwards though. So that way you can't see it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
terrible.
God,
Go ahead,
what an
sorry.
awful season.
I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I mean, really, I was just going to say where to move forward from here, but I mean, only one place to go but up at this point.
Well, we fired our manager during the Patriots game. Did anyone else notice that? That all of a
I
sudden
heard about that.
they slip it in that, we don't have a manager anymore. But no. You guys enjoy the Patriots game. That's more bigger news. I mean, come on. What a joke the Sox are right now. They are awful. They have lost the fan base. They need a big splash at manager.
They make the Phillies look good.
They make the Phillies look excellent.
We said this at Red Sox Winter Weekend, Joe. Every fan said this at Red Sox Winter Weekend. Bring in Jason Varitek.
Yeah. He's a leader. He had the C on the chest for a reason.
The captain, he's got the respect. He's got the know-how. I mean, just based off of his baseball knowledge alone, he was able to, I mean, any other player who had Varitek's skill would have probably batted 240 in their career.
Yeah.
He was a consistent 260, 270 hitter. I mean,
Right.
just based on his baseball knowledge alone, he could be exactly what the Red Sox need.
Here's a wild card to bring in, though. Alex Cora. He's got the experience. I'm calling it here first. They might.
He's never going to be a manager in baseball again.
I don't know about that.
If the
And I
Red Sox
think
bring back,
and you know what, Joe? I will agree with you. I think he should be a manager, but he will never be a manager in baseball
I'm
again.
just saying. I think he could
He will
be.
be a bench coach, and that's the highest he's going to go. That's
I
it.
don't know. He won a World Series. A lot of coaches can't say that.
He won 2, actually. Well,
One as a manager, one as a bench coach.
2.
But I'm just saying, though, he's got the experience. It's not like bringing in a young guy from AAA. I mean, I can see him being a manager. Red Sox liked him despite the cheating scandal. They liked him. They brought him. He brought a ring to Boston. He was good here as a player. I have this feeling, and there's been reports that possibly he could come back. But as you said, Johnny, Jason Varitek would be a great hire too. I just don't see who else could be in contention for the job. You need a big name like that in Boston.
You
Great
need a lot in Boston right now.
You need a lot in Boston. Yeah, thanks. Tom. Well, you missed out. You missed out on playoffs too. Wait a
We
minute.
did, just not as bad as you guys
We
did.
need 12 pitchers.
We just have a horrible pitching.
We need to drop all of our huge expensive contracts. Like I love Pedroia, but why are we still paying him? Honestly, why are we still paying him?
I mean, Nick, who do you think is going to be the next manager of the Sox?
Jason Varitek. If it's Alex Cora, I wouldn't approve.
Really?
Really.
Wow. Because
How
of
do
the
you guys? Oh, sorry.
because of the cheating?
Yes.
How do you guys feel about Craig Counsell?
No.
No, he
No?
doesn't know our system. I mean, he's a Brewers manager because he once played for the Brewers and he knows their system. So
You know who else I threw out? I heard for random names that could be in contention. Buck Showalter, and I found that
Oh
super
my
interesting.
god,
I found that one interesting.
Well,
that
he
one,
take the
that
Orioles
one
to
could
that
be
one
very,
year
very
glory,
interesting.
So
I don't
I like-
know. I don't know about that one. I rather Cora than Showalter, actually.
Didn't Buck Showalter lose like 110 games for the Orioles?
that's why
Yeah.
they canned him. But he did. I did bring. He did bring the O's to the playoffs in 2012, but that's about it.
That's it. I mean, so did John Farrell. He brought us to a playoff berth, and look what happened. I mean, it's a matter of like I'm jealous of even Donnelly's Phillies. He's got Girardi. Girardi had a great tenure with the Yankees, and he's got experience. So he went over to Philly and almost got them to the playoffs. We need
Hey,
a guy.
Joe
If they had
Girardi
better
went to
pitching, they would
Northwestern.
have.
What, Johnny?
Joe Girardi went to Northwestern. Don't criticize him.
He's a Chicago native.
I'm not
Look it up.
criticizing him. I'm saying he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
We need a guy like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Oh,
We'll see how the management decides to change things up a little bit.
It's
Because
it's just awful. At Fenway.
clearly a big change is needed right now. Clearly.
Johnny, let me ask you this. You're usually the host to ask us questions. Let me ask you this. Do you
Yep.
blow up the team?
I don't think you blow up the offense.
Okay.
I think you drop all the big contracts, players that aren't producing. Keep JD Martinez because he's pretty good, obviously. I would
He's
keep
free
Jackie
agent.
Bradley Jr. I know he's going to want to get paid, but he's a great leader and he's great on defense. I would blow up pitching. I would completely scrap pitching and just start from the ground up again. I mean,
Yeah.
Tanner Hawk, I keep him, but after that, I can't really think of anybody that you'd want to keep.
Yeah, Chris Sale is coming back next year.
Well,
Well, obviously Chris Sale, but he didn't play.
No.
this year, so.
That's your ace. We'll see how he comes back from surgery. But then who is your 2 through 5? I mean, nobody knows anybody's names really on the Red Sox starting rotation.
It's time to
Erod?
go shopping, boys.
What, Nick?
Erod? Maybe?
Maybe. I mean,
He didn't really have a great season either, though.
he had
No, he
such
didn't play.
inconsistency this year. That's a
Yeah.
tough part. And the fact that we finished with one of the worst records in the AL, with one of the highest payrolls in the AL, that's inexcusable. You
Yeah.
cannot do that. And with JD Martinez, he's a free agent. There's other factors that may come into play. Like you said, Johnny, this offseason is big. It's big for the Red Sox because there might be fans in the stands next year. Are they going to sell out games like they used to? Are people really going to care about this team? People aren't going to pay $100 a ticket to see a losing team.
I mean, Nick, I think Erod is a great pitcher. I think he had a bad season this year. I think he's not going to be the same pitcher that he was even in 2018. I think, if anything, use him as trade leverage to pick up a really reliable starter or pick up some good prospects that could work out in 2 or 3 years. Rebuild that farm system.
Yeah, that's been that's the key right here for the Red Sox to rebuild that farm system on top of making our major league team sort of competitive,
Want it all. We want it all.
Because part of it too, guys, is that Sox fans, they had high expectations each and every year after winning for so long. But now we're entering rebuilding mode. Like, Sox fans need to chill a little bit.
I don't know.
What do you mean Sox fans have to chill? The bar is set so high here.
We did win 108 games 2 years ago, but we fell off the face of the earth real quick. Before I move on, though,
Virtue, guys, believe.
It's not, before we move on, it's not the problem with believing, right? It's the fact that the Red Sox managed to implode so badly.
And so quickly. It's only been 2 years.
Yeah, I wasn't having high expectations about this season, but I was at least expecting a third place finish. I think that would have been reasonable, right? Even with the bad pitching, even with the injuries to Chris Sale. I mean, our offense it's so good. And Rod Redicke is not a bad manager, but clearly he just couldn't get the job done.
Nick, 2 years ago when we won 119 games in total, you're like, man, this is a good team though, right? Of course, you have most wins in Red Sox history that year.
Yeah.
You tell me 2 years ago you would have predicted in 2020 we'd have one of the worst records in the AL? That quick of a turnaround?
Not at the time, but I like how Dombrowski left and Chaim Bloom's trying to rebuild this team.
It's got to be a faster rebuild. They're going to lose fans real quick.
Yep.
There's other winning franchises. There's the Celtics who make the Eastern Conference Finals every year. The Bruins, they're always in contention, and the Patriots, they were in rebuilding, but they have a Super Bowl contender again.
Okay, but the Celtics, after losing the big three, they went a few years. I'm not saying the Sox will suck forever. Just give it some time.
They made the Eastern Conference Finals the past 2 years.
No, but as soon as all right. So remember the Celtics when the big three left and we sucked for a few years?
Yeah.
That's going to be the Red Sox too.
But there was promise there. There was draft picks. There was, all right, there's this plan. What's the Red Sox plan?
Okay, but baseball's different though, because the baseball is a minor league system.
We don't have one.
Yeah,
we don't have a minor league system.
Exactly. So we're trying to rebuild that. Dombrowski did such a shitty job with our farm system that it has to be rebuilt.
I guess. Boston fans, Nick, you're guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. Johnny's guilty of it. Donnelly, not so much. There's a high standard here. There is a high standard that if they don't win, what do we do to win? And that was built the past 20 years with all the championships. We're so spoiled. But at the same time, what is the plan? That's all. We don't even have a manager now. What is the plan?
I agree. And I think that's where so much of the frustration comes from. It's like, you can be bad for 2 or 3 years. That's fine. But if your farm system is good and you're developing real talent, you just wait those 2 or 3 years and then you see if you can contend. You don't pay $20 million to a player who's not even playing, right? That's the problem with the Red Sox organization. That is what sets them apart from guys from the Celtics, who traded away their big three, got draft picks like Joe said, and out of those draft picks came 2 essential franchise players in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown will be an all-star next year, by the way. So soon to be 2 all-stars. But before I move on to the Patriots, Donnelly, do you have anything else you want to add?
I'm just thinking that this is exactly how Philly's been for the past 10 years. There's so much hype and then nothing happens. So I think this is a very similar situation here. Everyone's got this hype and the Red Sox just fail to produce anything.
Hey,
well, I was going to say,
provide a different perspective here, guys.
I know, and I appreciate that. And we agree too much on the show, so it's good though that we have a little fight, a good discussion, back and forth. This is what the show needed, and hopefully more people can comment on the Red Sox, because I know there's a bunch of Sox fans out there. Probably
absolutely, I 100% agree with that.
Listen, I stay true to my team, and
I know that's good, but a lot of Red Sox fans are jumping ship, not because of the product, but because of the nature of the sport too.
Or management. Management has done we're still paying Pablo Sandoval, I think. I mean, come on.
That was some management before the current management.
First off, we are still paying Pablo Sandoval. We're still paying Dustin Pedroia, who hasn't played since 2017, realistically. I mean,
what are we doing? We're flushing.
It's all not Chaim Bloom's fault. This is the previous GM's fault.
Well, no, but it's also on Chaim Bloom to kind of figure it out from there.
But you can't be so mad. But you can't be mad at the old management. They got us a ring. So
Yeah.
which is
Joe,
it? Is it giving
Joe.
you credit or not?
But Joe, at what cost? Seriously.
It got us a ring, but we didn't have to win 119 games that year. We did have to think, all right, what's good for 2018 and beyond? Not just invest in 1 year. Let's do it with all this talent that we have on the team. And we used it all up in 1 year. What have we done since 2018?
I mean,
This league opened up so many playoff spots this year because of COVID. They allow 8 teams per league in the playoffs, and we couldn't even crack the top 8. When the Cincinnati Reds got in the National League, who have been terrible the past 15 years, they got to step up. They are going to lose fans.
Joe.
What?
I said agree to disagree.
And that's fine. Our host left, so apparently we're doing something good if we're going back and forth like this.
this discussion has been brought to you by the Fenway Frank.
Wait, was that Lily or Logan?
That was Lily.
Next segment by Logan.
That was. There you go.
That was a good argument, Nick. Well played.
Thank
And
you.
if we had a point system for around the horn, it'd be interesting to know what our scores were.
Yes.
I don't know why I said thank you, but thank you. All right, we have 2 more topics on our roundtable. Let's talk about the Patriots real quickly. There have been a lot of reports and a lot of opinions stating that the Patriots are now Super Bowl contenders. Now that they're 2-1, they're playing really well. What do you guys think?
Nick?
Well,
Joe?
Nick?
you want me to go first or Joe?
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
All right. So, what do I think about the Patriots so far? I think I like where this team is going. Last week they won against the 2-0 Raiders, albeit it's early in the season. But I seriously like where this team is going in terms of the offense and, quite frankly, the defense. I mean, the offense is a different look. Cam Newton's a rushing quarterback, and the running game has improved substantially. And with the running game comes the passing game, and everything seems to be sort of clicking at this point. With the exception of the one loss against Seattle, we beat the Dolphins, albeit it's the Dolphins, but still. And the win against the Raiders, I think this team's heading in the right direction.
Nick, I completely agree with you. I think we can all agree that the Patriots are heading in the right direction. But as of right now, as of how they're playing, personnel, their schedule moving forward, are the Patriots Super Bowl contenders?
They have such a tough schedule. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders this year. You still got Baltimore and Kansas City, on top of the AFC. The Patriots just have a tough schedule, and I think Newton needs to develop more in the system, and be like that stud he was a few years ago with the Panthers. But I just don't see them being Super Bowl contenders. Baltimore and Kansas City are more on top of that list, but just don't be surprised if in a year or two from now, you'll see, if we keep Newton has a 1-year deal. If we keep Newton and Newton strives this year, okay, I can see them being Super Bowl contenders in a year or two from now.
Connolly?
I think that if they continue what they're doing, and like Nick said, aside from the Seattle loss, I think if they continue what they're doing, they have a strong chance. But again, also like you said, their schedule coming up is not exactly going to help. But if they can show themselves with that, with their bigger running game, I mean, they put up 250 yards rushing last week. I mean, that's some good numbers. If they can keep that up and continue with their passing game, they're gonna do well. and the defense just has to keep it up and, keep the points down.
Joe?
This is tough for me. Me, Nick, and Johnny are diehard Patriots fans. Donnelly, we are better than your Eagles, so I can take that in stride.
Yeah, we suck this year.
You guys are
Not against the Bengals.
You're 0-2-1, which we will discuss about the tie later on. I don't know how you did that, but
Me neither.
so we have some comments real quick regarding on Facebook. Bills will be the biggest test, the toughest test by Charles. Bills are a great team right now. They're 3-0. They were up 28-3 on a 2-0 Rams team. They almost blew the 28-3. Falcons fans just got chills, but they held on to win. They held on against a very good Rams team coming east. We see West teams coming east and they don't fare well, but Rams held their own against Buffalo. So Buffalo seeing them twice this year, it's going to be a big test. This upcoming week, we play the Chiefs. That's going to be a big test. My answer is it depends. And I know that's so loose of an answer. N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry could be our deep threat. We are a deep threat away from being Super Bowl contenders. And we have him on the team. We don't need to go out and get a free agent or a trade like we did Randy Moss. We don't need a trade like that because we do have potential. We used a first-round pick on N'Keal Harry. If he could step up and not be going down by touching him with a finger, and actually him making strides on the sidelines, because we have our slot guy in Edelman. We have different weapons. The running backs, like you said, Donnelly, we rushed for a ton of yards this week. Rex Burkhead did fantastic. And every week we have a new running back. James White is back, all that. He's coming back. I don't know. The Chiefs are going to be such a big test this week. We saw Baltimore get crushed. So is anyone in the Kansas City Chiefs tier? I think New England could be in tier 2, but it depends on how N'Keal Harry does. How about you, Johnny? I mean, what do you think? I know that was kind of a loose answer. Are the Pats Super Bowl contenders? But my answer is it depends how he does.
Oh, it absolutely was. But real quickly, I want to note how happy that Donnelly was that at least the Eagles got a tie. Oh, me neither. That was so funny.
It's better than
It's
a
gonna
loss.
I'm so sorry to all the Philly fans, to all the Phillies fans who are watching. I mean, it's gonna be a rough season.
It
Oh,
really
And I
is.
think a large part of that is because of Carson Wentz.
You guys tied the Bengals. They had the first
Oh, I
overall
know.
pick.
Yeah.
How do you even do that at home? You guys were in Philly. That's mind blowing.
Well, with
Yeah.
the false start.
Because half our line is injured and Wentz can't throw for anything right now.
But it's
He's
painful.
overthrowing
I'm
way too much.
not even an Eagles fan, and it's painful.
Yep.
He's just making terrible calls on who to throw to and overthrowing
excuse.
everybody.
Real good excuse.
Hey, you should bring in
If-
Foles. Oh,
I read a
wait.
stat the other day that if Russell Wilson 46
This is great.
interceptions on his next 46 passes, he would still have a better QB rating than Carson Wentz does right.
It's great.
How
That's great.
mind-boggling is that?
It's insane because he can't complete a pass. It's terrible.
Eagles got to rebound from this, right? The division's terrible. I mean,
You would think so with the terrible division that they're in, but at the same time, unless Wentz does something or they bring in Hurts, nothing's going to change because even when the line holds them back, he still can't make the throw. Get receivers wide open, and he still overthrows them. It's
that's
like,
what happens
almost like
when your
Trubisky. It's
receiver-
just terrible.
That's what happens when you don't have good receivers like Jalen Rager or Nelson Aguilar. Why do you
Exactly.
think Miles Sanders was so high on fantasy football list? It's because the only good part of the Eagles game is their rushing. That's the only
And they can
good
barely
part.
even do that right now.
They're
Well,
doing okay.
Well, isn't
They're
the
not
I know.
great.
I said they can barely do it. They're making it, but it's not enough.
isn't
I
the
guess you
NFC,
could.
Rager's hurt now. He's not even playing.
It's terrible. It's
Is it- isn't the NFC East leader at 1-2 record?
It's funny too. The AFC East was a joke for the longest time. The Patriots ran through that division. Now the AFC East is pretty good, and the NFC least is pretty bad.
The NFC
It's-
least was pretty bad last year.
It's been bad for like the past
They were
few
really
years.
bad last year, though.
But you guys have so much promise. Donnelly, you guys just won a Super Bowl a few years ago. Dallas Cowboys, you have a huge payroll and a good stadium. Washington on the rise, and the Giants. Well,
They've
they're the
always
Giants. But the fact of the matter is, there should be better winning teams in that division, and
It
it's
really
just
should.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about how bad the Giants and the Washington football team and the Eagles and the Cowboys are, but let's just go back to your original question, Joe. The Patriots, I believe, are not quite Super Bowl contenders yet. And the problem with that is Patrick Mahomes. And the fact that Lamar Jackson, I mean, he's still a pretty great quarterback. The problem is that he hasn't shown up in the playoffs yet. And I think a large part of that is because he's young. So the Ravens worry me. The Chiefs obviously worry me. The Bills with how Josh Allen is playing this year worry me a lot. I mean, even the Colts defense with how well they're playing. Worry me.
Well, let's not put the Colts up there just yet. As they've had a very easy schedule. They beat the Jets. They beat the Jets last week. Hold on. Everybody
Okay,
beats the Jets.
But the Colts defense has been playing stellar. I mean, Phillip Rivers is still Phillip Rivers. I mean, he's not a great quarterback right now, but he's still at least average.
But Johnny,
Okay,
they
so-
played the Jets.
I think with an average quarterback and a good defense, as
Okay.
well as the Colts defense is, I think he can go pretty far.
But where do the Patriots rank in the AFC for you? How far down?
Right now, I think it's safe to say that the third best team, behind the Ravens and the Chiefs.
Ooh.
That's a Super
The
Bowl.
Bills
contender.
are very close at number 4. The Bills are really close.
So you're saying the third best team in the AFC is not a Super Bowl contender?
I think because you have so many teams that can contend against the Patriots.
All right.
No.
All right. I mean, yes, you have Tennessee who's 3-0. You have Pittsburgh who's 3-0. You have Baltimore who's 2-1. It's such a cluster at the top of the AFC. You look at the Chiefs. Yes, they're the class of the AFC. They're the defending champs. They have a $500 million man at quarterback. But at the same time, the Patriots are trending in the right direction, but they're missing a lot of pieces, key pieces like Hightower and Chung on defense this year. If they had their full defense, they might contend with the Chiefs, but we'll see how we contend with the Chiefs on Sunday.
This is not like most other Patriots Super Bowls or Patriots seasons. If they really want to be a Super Bowl contender, they have so many good teams that they're going to have to overcome. I mean, usually it's been like the Steelers or the Colts
Right.
or the Ravens, maybe a combination of the two. Really, though, you have 3 or potentially 4 teams because I don't even think like I said, you can't count out the Colts defense. And I hate to say it, I know the Patriots beat them on Sunday. You still can't count out the Raiders of pulling that upset against the Patriots. I mean, with the way the Titans are playing too, the Patriots have so many teams that could realistically beat them come playoff time.
Right.
And they still have to get through this daunting regular season.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
our schedule, like Nick said, I believe that the schedule's wicked tough. I mean, it's insane what our schedule's like this year.
Yeah.
But if we get home field, I don't know about fans. I don't know what's going to happen come playoff time. But Bill loves playing in Gillette. And if teams, there's an extra playoff team this year too. There's 7 teams, and only the top seed gets a bye week. So it's a whole new playoff system. But when you look at quarterbacks in the AFC, I would take Cam over a lot of them. Ryan Tannehill, Josh Allen. I would take Cam over Josh Allen. even though Allen is having an MVP season. I would take him over Ben Roethlisberger. So
Of course, I would too.
just interesting to look at the other quarterbacks in the AFC and be like, Cam made us a contender overnight, and it's only been 3 weeks of the season. We are trending in the right direction. We'll see how it goes in January, because I think I had them winning the AFC East, or at least 10 wins before Cam. So I think the ceiling is pretty high on this team.
Yeah, but like I said, though, that floor is pretty low too. Even if they do make the playoffs, chances are they'll probably get a wild card, or they'll be in the wild card game.
Yep.
So
Well, we're not going to get the bye, so everyone's going to be in the wild card week.
well, I mean, the Chiefs are going to get the number 1 seed.
Probably. They look dominant against
Forgot
Baltimore.
about the 17 playoff. Yeah. So, I mean, Chiefs are going to get the number 1 seed. We're probably going to play in a wild card game. So,
I'm just saying, though, if we get to the second round, we could make some noise because Pittsburgh would have to travel to us or Baltimore, if we finish the 2 or 3 seed. So we'll see what happens.
yeah, but the way that the Browns are playing too, I mean, it's possible that they could end up winning the AFC North. I mean, like I said, there's just so many teams that are competing this year.
The Browns.
Yeah.
The Browns.
They're 2-1. Don't look at me like
Nick's
that.
favorite team.
They beat the Bengals. They beat – who have they beat?
Okay. They're 2-1.
If you guys on your brownies. Baker Mayfield's going to be a savior.
I think the other team that they beat was the Washington football team, but still 2-1. 2-1. 2-1.
Oh, they beat Washington and Cincinnati. Well, to be fair, Philly couldn't even beat Cincinnati, so maybe you're right.
But they didn't lose to them either.
Your tie. You love your tie.
It's better than a loss.
Is it?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Numbers wise, it's better than a loss.
15-1.
Oh, that would be so.
And he's going to be like, well, we had one tie. We had one tie.
It's not the worst season in NFL history.
Yeah, it's better than the 08 Lions.
Oh, my gosh.
It's true.
Wow. You guys tied, and you're holding your head up so high because of a tie.
Because theoretically, it's better than a loss.
Freaking Carson Wentz.
Wait. Donnelly, what do they say at Eagles games? Fly, Eagles, fly, right? Not tie, Eagles, tie? Is that
Yeah, pretty much.
On the road to draw.
tie?
Yeah, no victories in that song anymore.
No. That's so funny.
It's just brutal. We're going to get to our picks shortly, though, but it'll be interesting to see how the Eagles do this week.
We have one more topic before that I want to discuss. Obviously, the big topic coming from Boston sports this week. The Celtics lose to the Heat 4-2. I mean, yeah, we got to talk about it, though, guys. I mean, it was another Game 6, another game where we had a good lead, I believe it was 6 points, with about 6 minutes left in the game, and then the Celtics just imploded. So, with knowing what the Celtics know now, how can they improve moving forward?
It's simple, Johnny.
Is it though?
They have to close out games in order to improve. They have to.
How?
How is that simple?
What is their inability to close out games?
I think it's all. I think
because of bad coaching. Is it because we're fouling out too much? I mean, what is it?
I think it's all mental. I think it's on the mental heads of the players. I mean, I feel like once they get into a 6-point lead or a double-digit lead late in the game, they just said, oh, this game's wrapped up in the bag. But yeah, I think it's a combination of being mental and, a little bit of on Brad Stevens' part, like, hey, like this game ain't over yet. I mean, it's just, it's something that they need to address and something that they need to fix soon, because next season is in January, and that starts a whole new season.
Brad Stevens needs some fire in his veins.
Exactly.
He needs a little bit more emotion and a little bit more energy. So often we say that coaches have too much emotion or too much energy that it takes away from their ability to coach the game. The problem is that he's not fighting for his players. He's letting all of the players have all of the emotion. That's what that game 2 blow up was. I mean, he needs to have fire in his veins. He needs to get mad. He needs to get riled up. If he can't do that, he is not the coach for the Celtics. And next year will be a huge test for that. And if he can, I think the Celtics write their own destiny next year, which I know is crazy to say considering that the West is so strong and that so many teams are so strong, even coming out of the East this year. But that's what I think they need to do. Joe?
I mean, it's easy to agree with both of you. Nick, they have to close out games. They've had big leads in a lot of those games, and those should have been wins. Johnny, the fight and the intensity from Brad Stevens has been in question before, but he is a great coach. He gets us to the playoffs every year, and we've lost 3 out of 4 in the Eastern Conference Finals. So he gets us far. Where people aren't giving enough credit to is the Miami Heat. They showed the mentality. They had better plays. They came back when other teams would have folded, down 17, down 14 early on. And it could have been 2-0 Celtics after 2 games. But they came back and won. I'm pretty sad the Celtics season's over. But the Heat, they've showed that they've dominated these playoffs, that they're no slouch. They beat Indiana, strong Indiana team. They beat the top seed Milwaukee. Milwaukee had the best record in the NBA this year. So I think we were undermining the Heat a little bit going into this series. And I think overall they had the playmakers. They're a young team too. And Jimmy Butler's taken over for D Wade. The transition has been flawless.
I don't know if I agree with that one, though. Jimmy Butler, he's a great player, but he didn't really play exceptionally well. If anything, he whined a lot about calls against him, and he was dirty.
Yes.
You know what? But I will say this, though, and I want to give a shout out to Peter Gilbert. Be sure to watch P&T Weekly every Tuesday night. We were having this discussion, and really the only 2 players to step up were Bam Adebayo and obviously Tyler Hero, because the Celtics could not guard him on the perimeter. And Tyler Hero was just making 3 after 3 after 3.
But it's a team effort. 2 players can't just beat us. They were the better team than we were. That's why I'm giving credit where credit's due. It's easy to sulk and to be like, we should have won this series. We should have won the series. We had the leads. But at the same time, when it comes to Hart and Johnny, that's why I agreed with you with Brad Stevens. But at the same time, it comes from the other players too. And the inexperience of Tatum and Brown being young, and Kemba Walker never being in the playoffs till this year. Gordon Hayward being hurt most of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a matter of it just wasn't our year. It's unfortunate. And I think we need a center too. I think a center would have helped. Tice and Robert Williams stepped up, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. And I think to a large part of why the Celtics weren't able to close out games 2, why they weren't able to do so well, was just poor decision making. The Celtics had no business shooting as many threes as they did later on in the game. I mean, the problem was that the Celtics turned over the ball a ton. The Heat beat them on the fast break. The Celtics would run down the court, lob up a 3, they would miss, and then the Heat would just bring the ball right back and shoot up a 3 of their own with Tyler Hero, make it in, and then the deficit would just grow and grow and grow. And the Celtics, once it got to a certain point, they just kept trying to play pickup. So
Well, all I was saying about Jimmy Butler, I agree with you that he was, oh, why didn't I get the call? Throwing his arms up in the air. Tatum did the same thing too, and I've said that on the show before that Tatum does the same thing. He gets hit in the arm. Where's the call? And he
yeah,
puts
but
his
he's not
arms
being
up.
flagrant with it though. That's the problem. Is that did you
Yes,
see that foul against Marcus Smart? That
Yes,
was
and I agree with
so
you. It was a flagrant.
blatantly bad.
Yep. But at the same time, Jimmy Butler, his stats may have not showed up, and the points were not there on the score sheet. But the leadership, he's been around. He's been on 4 teams in 4 years.
And again,
And he used to be a nuisance in the locker room, and there's been no complaints about him in Miami. He's found a good home in Miami, and they're there to stay for a while. They haven't made the finals since LeBron and D Wade.
yeah, but it was not just the Marcus Smart call too. I mean, shout out to Peter Gilbert again. It was also the call against Jaylen Brown, or the foul against Jaylen Brown. I mean, it's great that he's great in the locker room. I'm not disputing that. I think you need to be a locker room guy if you're going to be a veteran like Jimmy Butler. But you also have to be a class act on the court.
I agree with that. I do. I do fully agree with that.
It's one thing to dispute a couple of calls. I don't agree with Jason Tatum, and I don't agree with him disagreeing with the refs so much and in the way that he did. But he wasn't out there hacking the way he did against the other team. I mean, if he had done that, he could have, as bad as it sounds, if he had done that, he could have potentially taken out a couple of Heat players that would have made the difference down the road.
Right. But with Butler stepping up, though, saying the fact that he brought his teammates up. He was that type of leader to make Bam and Hero better. He didn't just ball hog. And all I'm saying is I'm giving credit where credit's due with Miami overall. And we can point fingers at the Celtics. Oh, they didn't do this. Oh, they didn't do that. But Miami, like I said, they've been tough all postseason. And people were not giving them enough credit. They are such underdogs to the Lakers. It's unbelievable because they're a 5 seed. Well, they have as many wins, I think, as the Lakers do. They've all had to win 4 games a series to get here. So they have the same amount of wins as the Lakers. But yet they are well underdogs. I think the biggest underdog in 15 years, something like that. And it just proves that, okay, hey, count us out. No one thought Miami would get to the NBA Finals. None of us did. And we watch the NBA night in and night out. But nobody picked Miami. So they're well-deserved. And they took down Celtics, Bucks, and Indiana. And that's a tough road, arguably tougher than the Lakers road. So I'm just saying I give credit. Did we lose Donnelly? All I'm saying is that I think
I was going to cut to him, but
well, I think he cut himself out. But I think the matter of fact, though, that I agree with both of you, though, that it's tough because you can point fingers at Brad Stevens. You can point fingers at the leads that we had. I don't know. Spoelstra, he's got the finals experience. Bam was a true center. We don't have a true center. So he dominated. Hero, welcome to the NBA. He had his welcome to the NBA moment, scoring 37. So everyone, all those young players out of Kentucky, they have a ton of players from Kentucky in the NBA Finals. John Calipari, I don't know what he's got in the water down there, but it's fantastic. The type of talent he gets out to the NBA, and it shows. And maybe we need to go get a Kentucky guy. I don't know. But we do need a center. And like you said, Brad Stevens needs to step up a little bit to get to that next step of the NBA Finals.
I would like to see the Celtics trade up and get James Wiseman. That would be fun.
But what do we get rid of?
Well, we have 3 first-round picks at that point. I wouldn't mind getting rid of all 3 of them and taking that risk just to get James Wiseman.
Ooh. You give 3 first-rounders for Wiseman?
That's a risk.
It's not unheard of. Maybe
Wow.
maybe 2 first-rounders and a second.
I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could. I don't think Danny could do that.
Crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened.
I think he's going to go Golden State, and we're like, well, Golden State's back in the finals. Who else? Donnelly, what do you think?
Sorry, I was not. available to for that amount of time.
You have no idea what I said, basically. Okay, moving on.
Right.
NFL.
Nick? Anything?
Well, to put a bow on this topic, so the Celtics, like I said, need to figure out their identity a little bit. So,
Yep.
So hey, we'll see you in January, I guess. January 1st, I think that's what they're targeting for the new NBA.
Oh, is it? I haven't heard that.
No, I've heard from Madam Silver saying they're going to play a full 82 and
Are they gonna have double headers? How do you squeeze in 82 games and not get back on track?
They just play catch up for 5 seasons.
I guess. I don't know. Shorten the season. Anyway, Johnny, get us back on track.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's time for us to go ahead and move on to our pick'ems.
Yeah.
Last season was pretty interesting. Or last week was pretty interesting. I think I got 6 wins. Donnelly, why don't you go ahead and read the standings?
So right now we have Joe in the lead with 9. I myself with 8, Nick with 0, and Johnny with 6.
See, at least I didn't come in last.
Exactly.
Showing up, I did better.
Nick, you need a major comeback, and it's only been 1 week. You need the comeback.
How many
of all
weeks are in the
comebacks.
season, guys? 17?
Well, we started at week 3, so technically not.
14?
Yeah.
There's still a lot of time.
And if you predict a tie, you get an extra 5 points. No one wanted the Eagles special. Nobody wanted that. I'm not calling it a Philly special. It was
So we're doing ties or 5 points?
If you guys listen, I almost predicted a tie last week, but it was between the Ravens and the Chiefs. So I would have been wrong.
You would have been wrong. Real quick, to answer a couple comments. What do y'all think about the Steelers and Titans game canceled due to COVID? It's not canceled. It's reportedly postponed to either Monday or Tuesday. They are looking in because the Titans facility is closed till Saturday. There is no walkthroughs. There is no people allowed at the facility till at least Saturday. Tennessee and Pittsburgh, a battle of 3-0 teams, a big game that they need to play.
Big game indeed.
I don't know how they can postpone it to the end of the year when there's flu season, and then COVID may even be bigger come winter months. That's a dangerous slope. I think it throws off everything. They can squeeze it in Monday or Tuesday. I think that's best for the league.
Well, they said it's postponed. They didn't say that it was canceled. So
Right. So I believe, though, that it will be played Monday or Tuesday. Fingers crossed. Of course, the health of the players is number one. So hopefully they can get everything situated by then.
we
Okay.
hope so too.
So,
I
With
just want
that
to throw that
said-
in. I just want to throw that in. We will
We
talk
get-
Steelers.
well, we could still choose a team between them, right? It's just
Is that
gonna
the
be a
first
later
matchup?
game.
Is that the first matchup?
No, Donnelly, why don't you or Joe? Do you have the games pulled up?
I can pull them up right now. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay. And while we're doing
And
that,
while Joe's doing that,
I already pulled it up.
actually PMT Weekly is airing tonight at 8:30. I just saw a post about that. So after you're done tuning into our show, tune into PMT Weekly at 8:30 tonight.
all right.
All right, week
Excellent.
4, boys. Week 4.
I also want to remind people to like
First
this
matchup.
video. Be sure to like the page. Be sure to comment, and you'll get a shout out on the show.
Yes,
So-
thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Charles, for commenting throughout the show. We really appreciate all the content that you guys have been putting down on the page. Continue to do that. Share with your friends. And any picks we have terribly wrong, you can cuss us out live on air. Because reality, we don't know what we're doing. The best we did last week was 9 right out of 16 games. So basically, we're the Cleveland Browns. We're just above 500, but we're still pretty bad. Well, we'll go on to what? What?
Well, Johnny's below 500.
You just wait until the Cleveland Browns get 15 wins this year. No, they're not going to do that, but still.
I would love to take that bet with you. I would love
And
That'd
if
be
they get
hilarious.
15 wins this year, I will be a very, very, very boisterous man.
No way. They will never get 15 wins in a season. Anyway, Broncos at Jets. God.
Yeah.
I think this is labeled as the worst game of the week.
Oh. Do we have to pick this one? Can we all just, I mean,
The real winners here are the people who are watching the other 1 o'clock games. Oh, wait, this is Thursday night.
night.
Oh, God.
This is prime time.
This is
That
Thursday
makes it even
night.
worse.
You know, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna
Oh,
go first and
God.
pick and pick this game. This is obviously a tough game to pick because both teams are horrendous. Are 0-3 to start the season.
Yeah, as Charles says, it's a pillow fight.
Who's the home team? Who's the home team in this game? The Jets.
Yeah.
Well, seeing as there are no fans in the Jets stadium, anyways, I'm gonna go with the Jets. It's a toss-up. It's really a toss-up. Jets.
It's awful. It's just such a bad matchup.
South Park season premiere, pandemic edition, tonight. 1
I'm actually
hour
kind of excited.
premiere. And the Broncos had South Park cutouts in their stadium for the last game. Didn't help. But because of that, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Denver Broncos because I think the South Park episode will propel the Broncos to play better, and it's going to be a 10-7 match.
Broncos.
I'm also going to go with the Broncos. I don't really think either of these teams are good enough to win, but I think the Broncos.
I have no faith in either team. So
I kind of feel like what Charles says, does it even matter? No.
it doesn't. It doesn't even matter.
All right, next game.
What do we
All
got?
right. This game's a little better. Saints at Lions. It's a little better. Not much, but it's a little better.
Is it easier in outcome on this one?
Ugh, it's just awful.
I'd have to pick the Saints here.
Detroit just beat a 2-0 Arizona team. Lions play tough, but they learn how to choke. It's tough to choke every week, but they tend to do. So I'll go Saints.
I don't know. I'd say the Lions are playing well, but
I really want one of
are
you to
already
pick
pretty low.
What do you got?
Isn't Michael Thomas coming back this week?
I hope so. I have him on fantasy.
Yeah. If he comes back this week, I'll go. I think he will. I'm going to go with the Saints.
Are we all on the Saints?
Yeah, I'm on the
Saints,
Saints.
Okay. Nick, since you need a major comeback, if we're all unanimous, I'm going to offer you the chance to change your pick. Do you want Lions?
Sure, I'll take the Lions.
I want to make
You
a
want the
side
Lions?
note real quick, by the way. I know this isn't normal, but Nick, I'm playing you in fantasy football this week. You do have a lot of Lions on your team. I am projected to beat you by 70 points. Readjust your lineup, buddy.
Well, hey, what day
That's
is
what
it?
happens when you come in last place every week.
Nick. Anyway.
What day is
You
it?
could be as high as
It's Wednesday,
160.
right? I have to do it tonight. I know that, or tomorrow.
You have to do it tonight.
You don't even have to do
During
it
the
tomorrow.
day.
Do Sunday morning.
I traded you Mike Gesicki. You need to put him in your lineup. You have Dallas Goedert still, and he's out for the rest of the period
All
of
right.
time.
Here, to hurry this up, we'll do rapid fire unless you guys want to can the brackets this week.
Yeah, we probably should speed this up.
All right. Chargers, Bucks.
Bucks.
Chargers.
I'll go Buccaneers. They're at home.
You said Bucks, Johnny?
Yep.
All right.
Chargers at
No, I
Bucks.
said Chargers.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks as well.
So 3 of us on the Bucks, Johnny on the Chargers. Next, Jaguars at Bengals. Another bad matchup.
You know, I'm going to go with the stash, Gardner Minshew and the Jags.
Bengals played a pretty close game last week.
Yeah, but to who?
I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
You want Jaguars, Donnelly?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Jaguars.
I'll go Bengals. I'll try to take the point then. Go Joe. Next, Vikings at Texans. A terrible matchup again.
Texans. Easy.
Believe in Kirk. Go with the Vikings.
What'd you say, Nick?
Texans.
I guess I'll go Texans. They're both
I'm
winless.
not a big fan of the Vikings this year, and I've been getting screwed over by them. So I'm going to go with the
The Texans.
Texans. I lost train of thought there.
All right. Next, Seahawks at Dolphins. I feel like we are all unanimous on this one.
Who?
Seahawks.
Oh,
Seahawks at Dolphins. Just pick Seattle.
Seahawks.
Just pick Seattle.
Yeah.
We're all in Seattle, right?
Yes, I am.
Next, battle of well, I guess we can pick this game. Battle of 3-0s. Good game. Steelers at Titans. Maybe Tuesday night.
I'll go with the
wow.
Titans.
So Titans for Johnny. Nick, who you got?
I'm gonna wait till Donnelly and Joe pick.
I'm going to go with the Steelers.
I'll go. That's a tough matchup. I think I believe in the Steelers a little bit more than the Titans, and I have a lot of Steelers on my fantasy team, so I'll go Pittsburgh.
Hey, remember the Titans, Tennessee.
So we're split.
Yeah.
That's cool. Next.
Either going to do really well or really badly this week.
All right, next. You guys know my pick. Browns at Cowboys. You know my pick.
So the Browns.
No. You're going to get wrecked.
Who are they playing?
Brownies at Cowboys.
Oh,
I'm going to take the Cowboys as much as I hate them.
Cowboys. Nick and Johnny. And Lily.
I'm revealing my team.
So the Browns, the Dog Pound.
God.
Oh, my God. Nick,
This is why Nick is 0
He's wearing blue.
16 last
So,
week.
Cowboys.
He's got Cowboys. Nick, you want the Brownies?
As much as I really want to pick the Browns, Cowboys.
Oh,
Too bad I already wrote it down.
If
unanimous.
Ezekiel Elliott is going to get at least 2 touchdowns on the ground.
if I did my picks last week and did pretty good, I would have picked the Browns. But I got to catch up and pick the Cowboys here.
Well, that's why you go different and you root for the Browns.
Wait, were you all unanimous on the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah, except you. I put
So,
you down for the Browns.
I get Nick's strategy. Play it safe for like 3 or 4 weeks and then change it up a little bit.
All right, I'll take the Browns.
Oh, he's switching. He's switching.
Ooh.
I'll take the Browns. Why not? Scrappy Browns team.
Because it's the Browns. You asked why. I can give you a good reason. It's the Cleveland Browns. Next, Cardinals at Panthers.
Give me Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, everybody.
Same.
Donnelly?
I'm going to go differently and choose the Cardinals.
We're all on the Cardinals.
Didn't see that one coming.
Next, a rematch of Super Bowl 41. Colts at Bears.
Ooh, wait, hang on.
What? This is a rematch. 41, not 51. 41. Way back when.
This is tough, but I feel like it'll come down to the quarterbacks, and for that, I'll say Colts.
Really?
Yes.
See, I'm going Bears because of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, they got rid of the other guy and brought in the real quarterback.
What,
Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Nick Foles. I'm going Foles.
He's only good as a backup. As soon as he starts,
Yeah.
he gets injured
Well, he led you to a Super Bowl.
because he was a backup.
Colts. Colts,
I got
baby.
Bears. The Bears. Johnny,
Who
who you got?
Johnny?
Oh, I got the Bears.
Okay.
All right.
John.
Everybody is on board with Foles.
Wait, I thought no, but Nick's got Colts.
I got Colts.
I said everybody but Nick.
Next. Oh, jeez, this matchup. Baltimore Ravens at the Washington football team.
based on the fact it's Washington football team, I'm going to take the Ravens.
How do you pick against the Ravens in this matchup?
You
I
don't.
mean, Ravens. Baltimore.
Not a good game.
Nope.
Gonna go with the Ravens.
Nick, you want the football team?
Give me the football team in Washington, baby.
Nick will go. Oh,
He's gonna go 0-16 again.
Yep.
he did pick a couple of the same picks as me, so maybe not 0-16, but maybe
You can't.
maybe like 4-12.
Next, are we all on the Ravens up?
Yeah.
Yeah, except
Next.
Nick, like usual.
Giants at Rams. Again,
Oof.
are we all going to be unanimous on the Rams?
Yeah.
Yep.
Except Nick.
Nope. Rams.
Finally,
Alright.
some sense.
Next matchup. Patriots at Chiefs.
Ooh, gotta go with those Chiefs.
Oh,
I don't think they're ready to compete with the Chiefs yet. They've given us a hard time in the past.
Even when they weren't good.
You know, I hate to be going against my team, but I have to be unbiased here and go with the Chiefs here.
Joe?
I'm gonna go Patriots because Bill plays them tough.
Yeah, but is Newton going to be up for it?
I think he will be. It's the first game with fans, so I think that could play a
Oh
factor.
boy.
Ooh.
Well, with what, in the Chiefs Stadium?
22% capacity.
Well, I thought they had that. Oh yeah, that was only the season opener, right? And then after that, they had no fans, right?
Why not just say 20 at that point?
Or 25, a quarter of your stadium, but 22%.
Yeah.
So it's the first game with fans. I'm gonna go Pats. I think they can. The Chiefs have to come down to earth at some point. I don't know if it's this week. I'm not confident in this pick, but I want to see more out of Cam. I want to see what direction this team will go.
Yeah.
So am I the only one on the Pats, or is Donnelly going to take Chiefs too? He's probably going to take Chiefs.
Okay, say nothing if you think it's going to be the Pats.
You lost Donnelly again? Okay. Well, we
All
may,
right,
have,
so I guess he's going with the Pats.
we may have to come back. There he is. Who do you got?
I
Chiefs
did
or
not
Pats?
go with the Pats. I went with the Chiefs.
So I'm the only one with the Pats. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, Bills at Raiders.
Oh, this is going to be a good game.
That's
Give
actually
me
gonna be
the
good.
Raiders.
Uh-oh.
I'll take the Bills.
I'm rooting for Raiders to help us in the AFC East. So I'll go Raiders.
I'm going to take the Bills.
Or split. It's actually a pretty good game.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be a really good game.
All right. Sunday night football. We get Philly at San Fran.
San
Woo!
Fran.
Oh boy. I can't wait.
Can you, though?
Whew, brutal.
You're picking Philly, right?
Who's starting for San Fran? Is Jimmy G back?
I think he's still injured.
Is he? So Nick Mullins versus Carson Wentz.
Oh God.
Yay.
I think I just puked in my mouth.
Yeah, I just we do have a couple comments from Peter. Nick, what are you thinking with Washington?
Well, right. To preface why I say the pick is because a few years ago when we were doing our radio show at Westfield State, like when we do these pick'em sort of things, I don't know, like, you know, when Washington had their nickname, I would say, "Give me the baby." Like, you know, I would say part of their nickname and say "baby." Just trying to carry it over just for this week. You guys, like I guess you remember very well what I'm talking about.
So I just found that comment pretty funny. Tommy, you actually commented. You said San Fran. I'll go with Tommy and say San Fran.
I'm going to agree on that one. Because Wentz can't do anything. And I don't trust him this week, especially against them.
That's funny. All right, who's with us with San Fran? Is it going to be a clean sweep?
No, I'm gonna go with Philly. Dilly dilly.
Ooh.
Wow. Johnny, what do you think?
I mean, is there really a question here? San
I
Fran's
mean, it is a
totally
question.
beat up,
We asked it.
but it's the Eagles.
We're split. Okay. And finally, the Monday night matchup everyone's looking forward to.
Are we though?
The Atlanta Falcons at the Green Bay Packers.
Is this one even a question?
Who wants Falcons upset?
I mean,
Nope. No, I'm good. I'm going Green Bay. I'm going Aaron Rodgers. Ooh, new.
All right,
Johnny, you want the
Packers-
Falcons?
Falcons?
no, no, no.
Green Bay. Green Bay.
Green Bay. I'll take
Absolutely.
Green Bay.
So we're all on Green Bay. That makes sense. And we already picked Titans and Pittsburgh, which could be the Tuesday night matchup on whatever station carries that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
So
right.
that is our week 4 slate of games. It should be very interesting how we do because it's still early on and we don't know what team is good or bad.
Oh, we know which teams are good or bad. We have a pretty good idea.
There's always one week with a lot of upsets. And I hope it's not this week because then Nick will catch up to us in the standings. But we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will. With that said, I think we're going to go ahead and skip our brackets this week and move on to our trivia question answer. So, Nick?
Wow, I'm actually not muted this week again.
I mean, we can mute you if you want.
No. Trivia answer
Oh,
for
man, I'm not the host. I can't mute.
Trivia answer for this week. First, I'll read off the question. On this day in 1989, Nolan Ryan lost a perfect game with 2 outs left in the inning. What inning did he lose it? Was it A, the 6th, B, the 7th, C, the 8th, or D, the 9th inning? So you guys guess either 6th, 7th, or 9th. It was the 8th inning.
Wow. Wow.
It was the 8th inning, gentlemen.
The one that nobody wanted
When
to
does
know.
anything ever happen in the 8th inning?
You did say that. You did say that at the beginning of the show. Nothing happens in the 8th inning.
Yeah, thank you. So, any comments on the trivia question, or no?
Nope. No answers.
All right, then Johnny, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much. With that said, let's go ahead and move into our final thoughts.
I do have one quick thing before our final thoughts. Sorry to cut you off. I did want to include Charles. He said the Atlanta Falcons will pull the upset against Green Bay Packers.
Wow.
Bold
Very
prediction.
risky.
Wow.
Bold.
Bold strategy, God.
See if it pays off.
We will see. Now I think we're ready to go ahead and move on to our final thoughts. You know what? I'm the host. I'm going to go ahead and choose the order because why not, right? Nick, we'll go ahead and start with you this week.
Oh boy. So last night was an interesting night. You had several things going on at once during the day. You had baseball. You basically had baseball going on throughout the day, but also too, you had the circus of a presidential debate, which I won't get into in this final thought. I'm just saying, with that being said, I regretted watching it. I should have watched the Indians-Yankees game. I didn't care if it was a blowout, but that's just basically my tidbit on that. Yeah.
Joe?
I don't know how to react to Nick, so I'm just going to move on. But my
Yeah,
final
this is
thought-
why he's usually muted for final thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Nick, my final thought actually has to do with you.
Yes.
So, early on in the baseball season, we
Mhm.
did our baseball predictions.
Right.
You hyped up these Seattle Mariners. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, the Seattle Mariners finished their season. They did not make playoffs. 27-33.
Mm-hmm.
They're below 500.
Yeah.
They were better than the Red Sox. And they were better than the Rangers and the Angels.
Mhm.
But they still finished third in the division.
Mhm.
When you said possibly they'd sneak into the playoffs. So I do give you credit for going out on a limb. But at the same time, Nick, the Mariners are the Mariners. The Mariners are the Cleveland Browns of baseball. There's always hype around
Right.
them. And it's mute worthy. So Donnelly, I know you're the mute master
Yeah.
of this. So because you picked the M's, I'm asking for a favor that we mute him for the rest of the show.
Nick, yeah, sure, of course.
Oh, great. Thank you.
You're
So,
welcome. There you go.
perfect. So, Nick, like I said, bold strategy. It didn't pay off for you. So, but I didn't want to include you in my final thought. So, bye, Nick, for audio side. And I'm glad you got your final thought in, at least before me. That actually worked out pretty well. But
Probably should have started with Joe.
Yeah, it would have been more entertaining.
But Nick, like I said, I give you credit. We butt heads on sports. You go bold takes, hot takes here and there.
And then we mute you.
You just got
Some
to
of
be
them
better.
good, most of them bad.
You just got to pick better teams to go out on a limb with the Mariners.
I do respect you, Nick, because of your picks, but at the same time, it's so hard to agree with you because you'd be like, "Oh, we should go with the Mariners," and it's like, "Oh, why do you think that?" Because this is what. Because there's no reason why. Because they could sneak into the playoffs. No, Nick. No.
Nick, I will let you redeem yourself with this. If you say yes to this question and they do, I will be muted. Next year, do you believe the Seattle Mariners will make the playoffs? Do you believe they'll finish above 500? Okay. I was willing to negotiate. So there you go. But maybe you'll have another team and you will be able to do that. That could be kind of our side bet that if we pick a long shot and we disagree, if they do better in your side of things, I will be muted and vice versa.
Okay.
I will take that. Will you, Nick? Just thumbs up, thumbs down because you can't say it.
Eh.
Okay. All right. And we have it on tape. It is recorded. It will be on YouTube later. Everyone stay tuned on YouTube. This episode will be up shortly. And guys, take it away for your final thoughts.
We love you, Nick. Go ahead, Donnelly.
Well, I just hope Philly doesn't tank too hard this year. That's my final take. They're going to lose a lot. I hope it's not a blowout. That's all I care about.
Sounds like a true Philly fan.
Yep.
I just hope it's
I'm
not.
still going to watch them, though. I'm not going to abandon them.
That's good.
I don't have high expectations.
The bar is set so low.
No.
We got 2 wins this season. Everybody break out the red carpet.
We're not the Browns. Yes.
You're not the Browns.
We're not the Browns.
That's very true. All right, Johnny, you get final thought. The final thought.
I mean, the Marlins, the last time that they made the playoffs, they won the World Series. So let's go, Miami Marlins, 55,000 or 550 to 1 odds to win the World Series at
They
the
did
beginning
win.
of the season.
They did win today.
They did win.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There is.
Philly's a lot.
Wow. Imagine.
No.
Let's go, Marlins.
Wow. Said no one ever. Even
Yeah.
Jeter doesn't say that, and he owns a team.
Could it be
He
because
says that to
Jeter owns
himself
the
every
team?
day.
I mean, Jeter has done a terrible job up until this year.
Yeah.
So, but who knows what would have happened with 100 more games in the regular season? They could have went 20 and 80 and missed the playoffs. So,
And the Red Sox could have gone 80 and 20. No, they couldn't have. No.
No way.
They did just well enough to consider.
Red Sox finished 24-36. They were last in the AL East.
Yeah.
We finished one win above the Tigers. Ugh.
The Tigers are even worse off than we are.
Yeah. Where is it? Go Sox. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's put a bow on this episode. We've lost track of this show.
Nick, you want to close us out today? Okay, so I'll do it then. We'd like to thank you all for watching this episode of the Sports Take Podcast. My name is Johnny Redmond. His name's Jonathan Donnelly. His name's Joe Gentile. And there's Nick. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to continue to comment on our page. Be sure to continue to comment on our videos. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channels. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. With that said, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic week. Keep watching sports.
Bye, everybody.